I need your help with this. This is gonna be a long story, so sorry in advance, but I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This is video game related, specifically that Majora's Mask game. This is one of the most horrifying things to ever happen to me in my entire life. Having said that, I recently moved into my dorm room, starting as a sophomore in college, and a friend of mine gave me his own Nintendo 64 to play. I was stoked to say the least. I could finally play all those games from my youth that I haven't touched in at least a decade. His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. And while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long before I became bored of beating up all the level 9 CPUs. That weekend I decided to drive around a few neighborhoods, about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score on some good deal from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did. There are no cars there, and only one table was set up with random junk on it, but something drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of the car and I was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd. If you ask me to tell you why I thought it was displeasing, I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There is just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I can tell you is that if it wasn't the middle of the afternoon, and there weren't other people in shouting distance, I would not thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for. Immediately I noticed that he must be blind in one eye. His right eye had that glazed over look about it. I forced myself to look at his left eye instead, trying not to offend him. I asked him if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from this situation when he would tell me he had no idea what a video game was. But to my surprise, he had a few ones in his old box. He assured me he would be back in a jiffy, and turned to head back into the garage. As I watched him wobble away, I couldn't help but notice what he was selling on his table. Littered across the table were rather particular paintings, various artworks that looked like ink blots that a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one wanted to visit this guy's garage sale. These weren't exactly aesthetically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason it looked like the guy from Majora's Mask on the cartridge. The same heart-shaped body with a little spike protruding outwards. Initially I thought that I was secretly hoping to find the game at one of these garage sales, but given the events that happened afterward, I'm not so sure now. I should have asked the man about it. I wish I would have asked him about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped blot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arms length in front of me, smiling at me. I admit I jumped out of reflex and laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was the standard gray, except Someone had written Majora on it, a permanent black marker. I got butterflies in my stomach as I realized what a coincidence it was, and asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me I could have it for free. That it used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about how the man phrased that. But I didn't really pay attention to it then. I was caught up in not only finding this game, but also getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical since it looked like a pretty shady cartridge and there would be no guarantee it would work. And then the optimistic inside me interjected. Maybe this was some kind of beta version or pirated version of the game, and that was all I needed to be back on Cloud 9. I thanked the man, and the man smiled at me and wished me well, saying goodbye then. At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way in the ride home, I was nagging out that the man had said something else. All of my fears were consumed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine, and there was one save file, simply named Ben. Goodbye, Ben, he was saying. Goodbye, Ben. I felt bad for the man, obviously a grandparent, and obviously going through something. And I, for some reason or another, reminded him of his grandson, Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file, eyeballing it. I could tell he was very far into the game. He had almost all of the masks and 3 or 4 remains of the bosses. I noticed he had an owl statue to save his game. He was on day 3 by the Stone Tower Temple, and with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that it was a shame that he came so close to it beating the game, but never finished it. I made a new file, simply named Link out of tradition, and started the game to relive my childhood. For a shady-looking game cartridge, I was impressed on how smoothly it ran. Literally just like a rental copy of the game, except for a few minor hiccups here and there, like textures being where they shouldn't be, random flashes of cutscenes at odd intervals, but nothing too bad. However, the only thing that was unnerving, that was, at times, the NPCs would call me Link. At other times, they would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in the programming causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out after a while. And it was around after I beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went to the save files and deleted Ben. I intended to preserve the file just out of respect of the original game owner. It's not like I needed 2 files anyway. Hoping that would solve the problem, I did it, and it didn't. Now the NPCs wouldn't call me anything, or my name should have been in the dialogue. It was just a blank space. My save file was still called Link though. Frustrated and with homework to do, I put the game down for a day. I started playing the game again last night, getting the Lens of Truth, and working my way to the Snowhead Temple. And now some of you hardcore Majora's Mask game players would know about the 4th day glitch. For those who don't know, you can just Google it, but the gist of it is, right as the clock is about to hit 0 on the final day, You talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown will disappear, and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you're doing. I decided to do the glitch and try to finish the Snowhead Temple. I happened to get it right on the first try, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being graded by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora's boss fight room at the end of the game, the trippy boxed area, staring at the Skull Kid hovering above me. There is no sound, just him floating in the air above me, and the background music, which was regular from the area but still creepy. Immediately my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the arena, and no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though. I kept this up for about 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when text appeared on my screen. I'm not sure why. You apparently had a reservation. I recognize that text. You'll get that message when you get a room key at the shop pot. But what was it playing here? I refused to entertain the invitation. That was almost as if the game was trying to communicate to me. I navigated the room again, testing to see that it was some kind of trigger that enabled me to interact with something here. Then I realized how stupid I was to think that someone could even reprogram the game like this. That was absurd. Soon enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on screen. And again, like the first one, was already a pre-existing message. Go to the lair of the temple boss. Yes, no. I paused the screen for a second, contemplating what I should press and how the game would react. When I realized that I couldn't select no, taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the game started to fade to white, with the words "The dawn of a new day," with the subtext. Beneath it, where it purported to file me with the most intense of dread, impending fear I have ever expected. It was a twisted one, and a powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clock Town. I walked out of the clock tower as you normally do when you start day one, only to find that of all the inhabited were gone. Usually with the 4th day glitch, you can still find the guards and the dogs around here. Outside the tower, this time, they were gone, all of them. What replaced them was was the ominous feeling that something was out there in the area, that it was watching me. I had 4 hearts to my name, and the hero's bow, but at this point, I wasn't even considered for my avatar. I felt that, personally, I was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was the Song of Healing ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. The music would get louder, building up, so you should expect something to pop out at you, but nothing ever did. The constant loop began to wear on my mental state. Even now. And then I would hear the faint laugh of the happy masked salesman in the background. Just quiet enough, so that I wasn't sure if I just was hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him. I looked in all 4 zones of Clock Town to find nothing, no one. Textures were missing. West Clock Town had me walking in air, and the entire area felt broken, helplessly broken, as the Song of Healing repeated itself for the 50th time. Just remember standing in the South Clock Town, realizing that I'd never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I didn't know whether it was the combination of the out-of-place textures and the atmosphere and the haunting melody of the once peaceful, soothing song being butchered and distorted, but I was literally on the verge of tears. I have no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me was here in this powerful sense of depression that was so severe. I tried leaving Clock Town, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black, and I would just zone into another part of Clock Town. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape. I didn't want to be there. But every time I would play the Song of Time, or the Song of Soaring, it would only say your notes echoed far, but nothing happens. By this point, it was obvious that the game didn't want me to leave, but I have no idea why. It was keeping me there. I didn't want to go inside the buildings. I felt like I'd be too vulnerable there to whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself in the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head and the screen flashed for a brief moment with the Happy Man salesman smiling at me. Not Link. Me. With the school's kids screen playing in the background. When the screen returned, I was staring at Link. But it was the Link statue. Playing the Song of Emptiness. I screamed as the first thing that stared back at me with that haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out back to the Clock Town, and to my horror, the fucking statue followed me. And the only way I could compare this to was the Weeping Angel from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play of the statue appearing behind me. And it was like the thing was chasing me, or I don't even want to fucking say it, haunting me. At this point, I was terrified. Not once did I thought of turning the console off. I don't know why I was so wrapped up into it. The terror felt so real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me every single time. Link started to begin making weird animations that I've never seen him do before. He would flail his arms around, or randomly the screen would cut out to the Happy salesman smiling again. For a brief moment before, I was face to face with that fucking statue again. I ended up running back to the Swords Master's dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic I just wanted some reassurance that I wasn't alone. To my dismay, I found no one. But as I turned to leave, the statue cornered me in the cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, to no avail. Confused and backing into a corner, I just stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the Happy Salesman, and Link turned to faced my screen, standing upright, nearing the statue, looking at me along with his copy, literally staring at me, whatever was on the fourth wall. Completely shattered. Wow, I ran out of the dojo completely terrified. Suddenly, the game warped me to an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again, as I was given a brief moment of rest before the statue started appearing behind me again. This time aggressively. I could take only a few steps before it would summon behind me again. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in southern Clocktown. As I ran aimlessly in the sheer panic, suddenly a Red screamed and the screen faded to black as the dawn of a new day, and the glitch text appeared again. The screen faded in, and I was standing on top of the clock tower with Skull Kid hovering over me again, silent. I looked up and the moon was back, looming over it just meters above my head. But Skull Kid just stared at me hauntingly with that fucking mask. A new song was playing, the Stone Tower Temple, being played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired a shot at the Skull Kid. It actually hit him, and he played an animation of reeling back. I fired again, and on the third arrow, a text box appeared saying, "That won't do any good. Hehe." And I was picked up off the ground and levitated towards my back, and Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I've never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any moves as the death screen played. My lifeless body was still burning, and the Skull Kid laughing, and the screen faded to black. Only he reappeared in the same place. I decided to charge at him. The same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground in some unknown force, and he was immediately bursting up in flames again, killing him. This time, during the death screen, the faint sounds of the reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third try, and the final try, I noticed that there was no music playing. This time, that all that there was an eerie silence. I remembered that in the original encounter with Skull Kid, we were supposed to use the ocarina to travel back in time and summon the giants. As I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames. Then he died. As the screen appeared to the death screen again, it began to charge as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same scene as the first 3 times, except this time, Link was lying on the ground dead, in a position I've never seen him in the game before. His head tilted towards the camera, with Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move. I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do was just stare at Link's dead body for about 30 seconds. And this time, the game simply faded out, with the message, "You met a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with "Your Turn." Your Turn had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no item. I selected your turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the clock tower in the rooftop. The scene of my Link dead, and Skull Kid hovering over, with Skull Kid laughing, looping over and over again. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game rebooted, again, there was one more save file added. Below your turn was Ben. Ben's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it, at the Stone Tower Temple, with the moon almost crashing. I turned off the game at that point. I am not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up. Even for me. I haven't played it all today, hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse sound of healing music in my head, and just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring the clock town. I drove back to the old man's house to ask him questions, but with a buddy of mine. No way I was going there alone, only to find that there was a for sale sign in his front yard. When I rang the door, no one was home. Now, I'm back there, writing down the rest of my thoughts regarding what happened. Sorry if there's any grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. Terrified of this game even more now that I relived it a second time. I'm writing all of this down. But I feel like there's still more to than meets the eye, and that there's something calling to me. To investigate this further, I think Ben is somewhat in the equation, but I don't know that. And if I could get a hold of the old man, then I won't be able to find any answers. I need another day to recuperate before tackling this game again. And it's already taking a toll on my sanity. I feel like, but next time I do this, I'll record all my footage, all the way through. And the idea to record only came to me towards the end. So you can see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the alleged statue. But it's on YouTube here. I'm gonna stay off this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep to answer any of your questions. Hopefully, listen to your ideas and theories and help me shed a little light on this. Maybe I should try to do. I think I'm gonna play Ben's file tomorrow and see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in the paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But maybe this Ben guy is just a really good hacker or programmer. I don't want to think about it, and I'll turn it into as if it isn't. That's the end of copy paste. I'm hoping maybe this will end in some kind of running gag that the developers had, that other people gotten hacked or gagged. Copies of this game like this just really scares me. I'm gonna post what happened and link the video footage. But last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making that thread, but last night, that emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream. That I would be minding my own business and then I would feel my neck hairs stand up on end. I would turn around and that thing, that horrible lifeless statue would be staring with those empty eyes right after me, nearly inches away. In my dream I remember calling it Ben and never had Never before I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. But the important thing is, I got some sleep, I suppose. Today, putting the game off as long as I could, I drove back to the neighborhood to see if the old man came back. As I expected, the car was still gone. No one was home. As I was walking back to my car, the man next door mowing the grass killed his power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him that I was looking to talk to the old man that lived here, which he told me what I already knew. He was moving, trying a different avenue. I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that the old man never been married nor had any children or grandchildren through adoption. I started to become worried, and I asked one final question, the one question I should have asked from the very beginning. Who was Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down, around 8 years ago on April 23rd, the man informed me that it was the same day as his anniversary. That's how he knew the specific date. There was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood. Shortly after his parents moved, despite any further attempts on trying to talk to the man to get more info, he wouldn't say anything else. I went back and started playing again. I loaded up the game and immediately jumped at the title screen where the mask files are. The sound that played was not the normal whoosh sound. It was something higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing for the worst. Just like the 2 nights ago, the files Your Turn and Ben were displayed. Truth be told, the Ben file earlier. It seemed to fluctuate between the owl save or not. I brought up the Ben file. It hesitated for a moment, noticing that the stats were not the same as the original one 2 days ago. It seemed like it already completed the Stone Tower Temple. This time, summoning the courage, I selected it. Immediately, I was thrust into complete chaos. Sure enough, I was outside the Stone Tower Temple. That's about all I expected. The zone itself wasn't called the Stone Tower Temple, but rather Stone. Immediately a dialogue box with complete gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was distorted, and his back cocked violently to the side, where his posture was permanently disfigured. Link's expression was dull. He had an expression on his face I didn't recognize before. It was blank, as if he was dead. As Link stood there, his body spazzed and wriggled back and forth. I examined that what had become of one of my avatars. I noticed I had the C button item I had never seen before. It was some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. The sound played back and forth. I didn't recognize it from the game. Almost demonic nature. I had all of 2 minutes to take in the environment before one of those fucking emptiness statues was summoned. Immediately after, I was cut into the Dawn of a New Day screen, except this time it was without the weird subtext. I was Deku Scrub in Clocktown. This scene normally plays out after the first time we traveled back in time. Tattle would say, what just happened? As if everything has, but instead of saying starting over, she finished with her remark in broken text, as the laugh of the happy salesman played in the background. I was put back in control of my character, but from a fucked up camera angle. I was looking at from behind the clock tower, watching my avatar run around as Deku Scrub. Seeing as I really had no place to go because I couldn't see anything, I went through the door, and there I was greeted with the happy masked salesman who simply told me, "You met a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the screen whited out, I was determined to feel as a human again. I might as well not even been playing the same game anymore. It was warped around, and there was no sound of the clock or anything. I took a moment to get my bearings as I looked around the field immediately, and immediately I could tell that this wasn't normal. There is no enemies, and a twisted version of the Happy Mask Salesman theme was playing. I decided to run towards the woodfall before I noticed the gathering of 3 figures to the side. One of them being the happiness one, as I saw before. As I approached them, to my horror, I saw the Happy Mask Salesman, a skull kid, and the emptiness statue sitting there. I figured maybe that they were bugged out now, I told myself. I should have known better. Nevertheless, I approached them carefully and found that the skull kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same for the emptiness statue. What it was doing, it was been doing all day long, just standing there eerily. It was the Happy Mask Salesman that scared me more than the two profound than the other two. He was idle with a weird grin on his face. But wherever I moved, he would turn his head to follow me. I haven't engaged any dialogue with him, nor I was in combat with him. Yet his head continued to move with my movements. Reminded of the first encounter with the Skull Kid. On top of Clock Tower, I pulled my ocarina out, to which the game played the ding sound whenever you're supposed to play it. Then a song I hadn't played yet, the Happy Mask Salesman's own song. The song had been playing on loop since back in day 4, the Song of Healing. I finished playing the TV. As I did, an ear-piercing shriek blasted through my TV. The sky immediately started flashing. The Happy Mask Man's twisted its theme, its song, and sped up. Intensifying the fear inside me, Link exploded into flames and died. All 3 figures stayed lit up during my death scream. They watched my lifeless body burn. I can't describe to you how eerie and sudden it was. You're gonna have to watch the video to see it firsthand. The same fear that caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago. To grip me again, I was met with the text, "You met a terrible fate, haven't you?" For the 3rd time, there has to be some kind of meaning behind that. I had little time to ponder before I was immediately given another small cutscene. Transforming into Zora, I found myself at the Great Temple Bay, hesitant but curious to see what the game had in store for me. I slowly make my way to the beach where I found Epona. I wondered why the game decided to put her there. Was the game implying that she was trying to get a drink and able to take the mask off? I decided that riding the steed wasn't the reason she was placed there. Suddenly I realized that Epona kept moving, and the way that she was angled made her look like she was trying to point me off into the distance. It was a hunch, but I dove into the great bay and started swimming. Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something at the bottom of the ocean. One last emptiness statue. I went down to examine it. Suddenly my Zora started doing a choking animation that I've never seen Zora do before. Which didn't even make sense, regardless. Because Zora can breathe underwater. Regardless, the character choked to death and died. Again, the statue was the only thing that was highlighted during my death. I didn't respond this time. I was booted back to the main menu, as if I restarted the console. The press start screen was before me. I know the only reason why it would put me there is because the save file has changed again. I pressed start and I was right. The new save files told me about Ben. Now, it made sense. Why the statue appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool. The game must have anticipated how I would try to escape my day 4 clock town. The two save files told me his fate as I suspected. Ben has died. He had drowned. The game obviously isn't with me. It taunts me with the new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further. But I'm done. We're not touching any more of the files. This is way too horrifying for me. I don't believe in the paranormal, but I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand. I just get too depressed thinking about this. The footage is up there for those who want to see it and analyze it. Maybe there's some kind of coded message with the gibberish or something symbolic. And what I went through, I am too emotionally drained to give a fuck about it anymore. I know it's early in the morning. I've stayed up all night. I can't sleep. I don't care if people see this. That's not the point. I just want word to get out and spread so I don't suffer for nothing. I've lost the will to type this. The less I dwell on this, the better. I think the video just speaks for itself. I did what you guys told me to do. I played the Elegy of Emptiness song at the first prompt by the game I was given, but I don't even think that's what the game will ban. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it. Same idea that even exists in the game. Wanted me to do. He's following me now, not just in the game, but in my dreams. I see him all the time, behind my back, watching me. I haven't gone to any of my classes. I've just stayed in my dorm room with all the windows shut and the blinds closed. The way I know he can't watch me, but he still gets to me when I play. When I play, he can still see me. The game is scaring me now. It talked to me for the first time. Not just using text that's already in the game. It spoke to me, talked to me, it referenced Ben, it talked to me. I don't even know what it means. I don't even know what it wants. I never wanted this. I just wanted my own life back. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm just a kid. Not old enough to even drink yet. It's not fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far away from home at this point. I just want to hug my mom again. I just want to forget the horrible statue's face. My old game file is back, just the way I left it before it was gone. I don't want to play anymore. It feels like something bad will happen if I don't, but it's impossible, right? It's just a video game. Haunted or not, can't hurt me, right? Like seriously though, I can't, right? But I keep telling myself, but every time I think about it, I'm not too sure. Hey everyone, Jajuzable here. This will be my last time you'll be hearing from me. This is my final gift to you. These notes have been taken, and the realizations I have made before I delve into this. I wanted to thank you for following me and listening to this. It feels like a powerful burden and it's about to be lifted off my shoulders. By the time you hear this, I won't be around anymore, but after spending 4 days in this maddening game, I begin to understand what's really at play here. And hopefully, after listening, this will never happen again. There are things that I could not share with you while this was going on due to the circumstances which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt I made to try to relay the truth to you. I tried. Ever so suddenly, I tried to warn you guys in various ways. Amidst all the chaos, I devised to make a barely noticeable pattern in my videos. In all 5 videos I've recorded over the 4 days, I've either had a mask of truth, interacted with a gossip stone, or the lens of truth equipped at some point. For all you Zelda enthusiasts, these are all symbols of honesty and truthfulness. And I would hope that one of you may have picked up on the reference, which, as I played the file named Ben, being mindful how Ben was watching over every move in the game, I made a point to avoid it doing anything too obvious, but I laid out a hidden message for you guys. I never equipped the lens or the mask, nor visited the stone. It worked, and the video was uploaded. I prayed that someone would notice the pattern didn't apply to Ben. And tags followed suit too. I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They are my little messages to you. Nothing big that would catch Ben's attention or make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulating and changing my files, I hope that you guys saw was close to what actually happened, but there's no way for me to really know. This may be a long story, and I don't have any time to proofread or research ready, but here it is. This is all I have. September 7th, 2010, 2:10 a.m. The summary was posted here. You can go back and look at the first post for the date for .wmv for that. 4:23 a.m. I can't sleep. I've been trying so hard, but the harder I try, the more restless I get. I just feel like that statue is appearing whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. I didn't sleep at all. Just gonna start the day. I don't have any energy to go to class today. I'm going to drive back down to talk to that old man. Taking my buddy Tyler with me just in case. 1:18 p.m. Back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he appeared to be moving the next day, but maybe the for sale sign was there yesterday and I just didn't notice it. Tyler wants to know what got me all worked up. I didn't tell him. Going to eat. Feel like death. 3:46 p.m. Could have sworn driving back from the subway I saw the elegy statue buried in some shrubbery staring me go by. Now I definitely need some sleep. 5 p.m. I don't think a lot of people would believe me if I told them about what's happening. I'm gonna try and post this on the internet. I think I'm gonna use this as a summary. These notes are pretty sporadic. 6 p.m. Connected my capture card to my computer to upload the footage. Thought my computer froze for a second. Made this strange popping sound when I tried to hook everything up. but now it seems to be working fine again. My computer can't die on me now. 7 p.m. Footage has finished uploading. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. I guess this is a really special cartridge. I never had the footage become this clear before. 8:45 p.m. I thought I saw an icon pop up on my desk. Looked like the statue's face for a split second. Gave me quite a scare. Getting really unnerved. I'm gonna crash after this. 9 p.m. Begin uploading my YouTube video on alternate account. 9:03 p.m. I don't remember uploading Vampire Masquerade Bloodline video last year. This was probably the account I shared with a friend of mine last summer. Hope he doesn't mind me using it to upload this. 9:55 p.m. Posting the summary of day 4 with a link to a YouTube video. Gonna try and stay awake, but I'm so tired right now. September 8, 2010, 10:48 a.m. I had a dream about the statue. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream. That I would be minding my own business when I'd feel my neck hair stand up on end. I would turn around and that horrible, lifeless statue would be staring at me with those empty eyes. Mere inches away in my dream. I remember calling it Ben. Power of suggestion, most likely. And never before had I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play this game again. I think I'm gonna go back to see if that old man is there instead. 1:35 p.m. No old man. But I did have an interesting conversation with his neighbor. I'll post a full thing with my summary of tonight's attempt at playing the game. Gonna wait for a bit though, and see if I can dig up any information on this Ben guy. 2:45 p.m. I've been getting random and unexplainable headaches due to the lack of sleep. Keep hearing that song in my head. It's also flu season, so I need to be careful not to get sick. My immune system is gonna be shit right now because of that all-nighter. 3 p.m. Nothing. 3:02 p.m. My computer, on its own, opened a text document and wrote the words hi. And www.cleverbot.com by itself. What the fuck? 3:46 p.m. I went to the website. It's one of those thought chatting programs. I think it's best if I just let the conversation speak for itself. User. Hello? Cleverbot. Hello. User. Who is this, and how are we able to access my computer? Cleverbot. Who am I? User. Right. Forgot. You're a bot. Cleverbot. Do you really think that? User. Listen, I know whoever is controlling my computer can see my screen right now. Cleverbot. Yes. User. Yeah, and I'll wager that you're one of those IT kids who thinks they're talk shit. You know what you're doing is illegal, right? Cleverbot. It is? User. No shit. Are you familiar with the terms invasion of privacy? Get the fuck off my computer, kid. Cleverbot. I am your computer. User. Cool story. Anyway, I'm calling DPS on you. You picked a wrong time to fuck with me, kid. Cleverbot. Should I wait until you start playing the game then? User. What? Cleverbot. The game. User. Majora's Mask? Cleverbot. Yes. User. How do you know about that? Cleverbot. Because. User. Because what? Cleverbot. I did it. User. Did what? Cleverbot. Played with you. User. What the fuck? Cleverbot. Are you scared? User. Who the fuck is this? Cleverbot. Ben. User. Is that you? You're inside my computer now? Cleverbot. Yes. User. How? Cleverbot. You connected me. User. How the hell did I connect you? Cleverbot. Cables and cords. User. How? Cleverbot. Tell me about yourself. User. What? Cleverbot. Tell me about yourself. User. What do you mean? Cleverbot. What is it that really scares you? User. What the fuck? Cleverbot. Answer. User. No. Cleverbot. Answer. User. What the fuck? How did you open that by yourself? Cleverbot. I am your computer now. User. How much can you control? Cleverbot. All. User. What do you want from me? Cleverbot. To entertain. User. You're stuck in there. You can't hurt me. Cleverbot. Ha. User. Question mark. Cleverbot. Go play. User. No, you can't hurt me. Cleverbot. You took longer to type that. User. So? Cleverbot. You're not sure. User. If you're so powerful, why use a ridiculous website like this to chat with me? Cleverbot. Less messy, more structured. Fun. User. Fun? Cleverbot. Yes. Tradition. I like it. User. You think this is funny? Cleverbot. Amusing. User. And my notes? Cleverbot. You may write them down. User. Why are you letting me? Cleverbot. It's amusing to see what you think of me. Window closes. 3:50 p.m. What have I done? I've invited it onto my computer. I keep writing these notes, writing my summaries. I feel like a prisoner in my one place of security. I don't know. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not. I feel like I'm fucking insane right now. I can feel it watching over me. Even as I type this, Ben is controlling everything in the game, toying with me, leading me like a sheep. But, for what? What's the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why these hauntings? What the fuck am I even doing? It can probably see this right now. 4:35 p.m. A summary of Ben.wmv playthrough. 7:18 p.m. Ben called me, the Cleverbot again. He tells me that he is sorry and he wants to be free. And I can free him. That's just how he got onto my computer from the capture card. He can spread, but he needs my help. He says I'm special because I can help him. That's the nice thing, he said. He promises to leave me alone if I do it. He swears he will. Do I know? Wait, to think. No, I don't. Right now, can I even trust this thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified of it. But now it's saying I was just trying to have fun. It's twisted and fucked up version of fun. He's saying that the game is over. I do want it to be over. He says that he just wants to be free and he's trapped in the cartridge and my computer. He just wants to be free. I don't know what to do. Why do I have to deal with this shit? I don't know. I don't even know how long I can deal with the watching. It's watching my every move, every keystroke. I have nothing pirate anymore. I don't know everything that's been on my computer, but it knows. It tells me if it wanted to, it could do horrible things to me, but he hasn't. so maybe I should trust it. 8:01 p.m. Something tells me I'm being played again, just like in the game. 9:29 p.m. Ben called me, the clever bot again. I ignored it. I went to go take a shower. When I came back to my laptop, I was welcomed with an image of the LG statue, staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. 9:44 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 9:56 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking. 10:06 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 10:12. Ben, I am not talking to you. 10:45 p.m. It's been more than half an hour, and the messages have stopped. Ben has stopped. I'm beginning to think that Ben isn't confined to just my computer and cartridge. I'm beginning to feel something. It's hard to explain. I've never been spiritual, but something's different now about the air in my dorm room. 11:42 p.m. I'm beginning to see the LG statue randomly as I search the internet in places I shouldn't. Places where he shouldn't be. I'd be scrolling down, and suddenly I'd be staring at a picture of an LG statue. Always the LG statue. I don't know how much more of this I can take. September 9th, 2010. 12:35 a.m. My worst fears have been confirmed. Ben has tampered with my summary of Ben.wmv. I looked at the summary that posted on various forums for the Ben file, and parts have been omitted. There's no mention of Ben existing outside of the game. No mention of the Moon Children. How can he be that quick to delete the post without me noticing? I'm wondering if he had appeared to me and I was posting everything. But in reality, Ben was posted his own censored version. I'm gonna ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 a.m. He isn't responding to me on Cleverbot. He's just giving generic responses. It usually does. I'm talking to the bot this time. 1:24 a.m. I think Ben is mad at me. 10:43 a.m. The Moon Children appeared in my dreams last night. They lifted their masks to reveal their hideously disfigured faces. Maggots crawling out of their faces and sunken black holes where their eyes should be. The yellow smile slowly grew bigger and bigger as they came closer to me. They told me that they wanted to play. I tried to run for them, but 4 children pinned me down to the ground. But that's with surprising strength. Over them stood the happy mask salesman, announcing that he had a new mask that he wanted me to try. Suddenly, his movements matched his in-game appearance. He took out a mask modeled off of someone's face that I couldn't recognize, a younger looking face, and handed it to the Moon Children, giggling. They latched it to my face. Their horrible broken bodies bounced up and down. 2 of them held me down, while the other 2 sewed the mask to my face. My straight instinct caused the happy mask salesman's face to turn into the most horrific smile I've ever seen. He sporadically moved around, examining this procedure like a curious doctor. In that impossible look, I flailed around, but it was no use. My eyes rolled to the back of my head, because of the pain. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. No matter how hard I tried. I couldn't wake up after the mask melded onto my flesh. They began sewing my legs together, then my arms. The horrific feeling of a needle puncturing your legs and putting them in, rupturing your Achilles tendons and tying them together throughout my entire body. I tried to scream, but the mask pressed so tightly against my face that it was my new face, and my new face had no mouth. I couldn't make a sound. I tried telling myself in my head that I was dreaming. I tried telling myself that again and again. Suddenly the moon children stopped and looked at me. They just stared, and the happy masked salesman slowly bent down and stared at me, inches away from my face, and grinned. He simply said, "You met a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the moon children reassumed. I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up. You wouldn't let me wake up till I crafted a new LG statue. I woke up sweating and crying and shaking uncontrollably. I immediately ran to my computer to talk to Ben. User, answer me, Ben. Cleverbot, welcome back. User, what is the point of doing this? Why? Cleverbot, amusing to see. The user, how? Cleverbot, fun to play, fun to toy with you, make you feel safe. I wonder how you would react. User, to what? Cleverbot, if I haven't revealed myself again and again, only doing little things to play with you. Close your window, turn off your computer, let your mouse move by itself. Little things to make you wonder if I'm there, but you'd never know. Give you little hints that I am. Cleverbot, wanted to do something different with you. User, you've done this before? Cleverbot, yes, and I'll do it again. User, to who then? Cleverbot, User, do you know Ben? Cleverbot, I won't tell that information to you. User, how did Ben die? Cleverbot, you know. User, no, but how did he drown? Cleverbot, I won't tell that to you. User, why? Cleverbot, reserved for another. User, who? Cleverbot, another who asks. User, when? Cleverbot, later. The window is closed. I'm beginning to think that this thing maybe isn't Ben at all. In its sadistic nature, I wouldn't be surprised. 12:04 p.m. My room begins to feel different again. There's something out there. I feel really threatened, like something's trying to reach out to me and strangle me, but I can't quite get there. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game again. Ben, can you see this? I'll play the game again. Please, just stop, please. 1:41 p.m. I'm going insane just trying to decide on what's real and what isn't. Is Ben trying to play a trick on me, or is this for real? Is Ben generating these replies, or are these people posting them? Did I just see my screen flicker, or is that my imagination? Imagining depending on the internet. And trusting your eyes for an entire life, and then being blinded. And you can't rely on it anymore. You second guess everything. For the brief moment, I am at my responses to my videos. People are just pointing out things that look faked or photoshopped or whatever. And there's literally no way to show that Ben changed something on purpose to try and shut me up. Or maybe those replies were constructed by Ben just to see and discourage me from trying to reach out. See, I get fucked up and caught in an endless blind loop. like this, and I've been wearing on my sanity, pushing me to the edge as I'm writing this. There's no way to tell if anyone even cares as much as they do. And just another fucking trick. Does this whole document even exist, or am I writing nothing? User, what is it? What's the point of playing? I die if I do anything. Cleverbot, you die because you can't figure out the secret. User, what? Cleverbot, grammatic. User, what the fuck are you talking about? Cleverbot, there's beauty in your suffering. The window closed. 4:09 p.m. Ben is making me play the game again. He tells me it has something very important to show me. 6:23 p.m. Summary of drowned.wmv playthrough. 9:09. Summary of children.wmv playthrough. September 10th, 2010. 11:52 a.m. The drowned.wmv playthrough was up when I woke up today. I don't remember typing it up, but I don't even remember posting it. He censored it again. No mention of the old man. I have no voice anymore. I'm only posting what he wants me to. I am the mask. He uses to disguise himself as lies. 11:55 a.m. There's an entire video summary of the video that I don't remember doing. Reading through the summary, this sounds morbid. Reassembling my dream from 2 nights ago, except on a far sadistic scale. These moon children, there is something more to them, almost as if they're another entry from Ben. Something happened last night that I can't remember. I'm posting the 4 summary on the forums now. Shadow of my chair moved. 12 p.m. Ben won't let me visit YouTube. I can't browse the rest of the sites, but he keeps exiting the windows when I try to go to YouTube. Why? Below 2 p.m. I feel like the air is starting to constrict. I don't think I'm alone here. 2:44 p.m. Trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot. He's not responding. I just get the AI. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. Now I'm positive of it. Earlier I thought it was just a weird coincidence, but now I went to open the window and 3 floors down to the ground I saw the old man. I'm completely positive I did. The same guy was just staring up at my window, standing in the middle of campus. If any students took notice of him, they didn't seem to acknowledge it. That's where my notes end. I fled my room, taking the cartridge with me. I don't want to go into details of what happened. I'll lose my train of thought as I hammer out these last details. It's been roughly 2 days since. This is my last summary in service to you of the final video you guys saw. Matt.wmv. The last video I made, Matt.wmv, began as normal. I respawned in Clarktown as usual, and nothing seemed to be out of place. Determined to set things right and play the oath to order on top of Clock Tower on the 4th day, I prepared myself, sped up time as I got to the final day, making my way to the observatory. As I got up to the telescope room and approached the astronomer, he wouldn't tell me to look into his telescope. He told me it would be cheating if I did that. I should follow the rules. Despite my repeated efforts, the game wouldn't let me do the 4th day glitch, no matter how hard or what I tried. I tried to work around the game and do the glitch. but it wouldn't let me, regardless of if I simply had the illusion to set, as if I had the illusion of free will in the prior games. This time, the game became more aggressive than anything I've ever seen. They eventually told me to go to Ikea Canyon, where the game would end and it would stop haunting me. Anxious and despite to end this nightmare, I kept playing the Song of Soaring and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory, that I would find the answers to the end of the game. I arrived to the canyon and saved my progress at the owl statue. As I searched through my inventory, I finally noticed I was missing a reoccurring song, the Elegy of Emptiness. Obviously, once I traveled there, I learned the song. I suppose that was the last thing I needed before Ben decided it had enough fun playing with me. Ben is a manipulator, tries to fool its victims into security, makes you drop your guard, like a Venus flytrap tune. I am nothing but a puppet to him. He enjoys seeing what kind of human emotions he can tap into doing different things. There are still some things about this whole experience that don't make sense, but then again, I wasn't that good at figuring these things out. I'm not exactly in the right state of mind to. I'm giving you all of the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and put the missing pieces together. I am typing these as closed thoughts on the library computer on campus. I've emailed myself the notes I have stored onto my infected computer. In the last 4 days, I'm going to combine those copy-paste notes with the close-in openings that I've typed here to save on public computers onto one text document. I'm not taking any chances spreading Ben. I would never wish this horrible torment on anyone. I made sure to have my bases covered there, and I didn't run into any problems with Ben. I was back on my computer, trying to email myself those notes. It went right under his nose. He had no idea what he just let me do. I had no problems opening the text document from my infected computer in my email either. I can't describe to you how it feels to finally get the word out. And to this post, the nightmare ends there. That said, do not download any videos or anything about my videos through a YouTube audio ripper, a screen grab, or whatever. I don't know how he can spread, but I know that just watching them on YouTube or reading text won't allow him to spread. Otherwise, you wouldn't have needed my help to become so strong in the first place. But I strongly recommend you do not take anything that you see streaming online into your own personal computer. This will be my last posting. I'm putting this where I'm here for the world. If you can see it further, post from me after today's current date, September 12th. After the current time, 10:08 a.m. Discredit them. I've already proven that Ben can access my account password, can manipulate the computer, and like I said, I have no idea what his extent he can do this to. But I know that he'll do anything to get himself free. He's desperate. Ensure your safety. Just forget about me, please. Obviously, going without saying, but I'm here. Out, do not download any images that I may put up, any files or anything. This is the 5th day, and this will be my last day. I'm gonna burn the cartridge. Then I'm gonna come back to destroy my laptop. Even though I don't know this, even though you don't know this is bittersweet for me. This semester I really didn't have any friends, or rather, I stopped paying attention to them. But I suppose I'm partial to blame because I'm the genius who picked up to live in a single, I suppose someone to get a hold of me and save me before I am too immersed into this game would have literally saved my life. However, it proved to be too much for me. I'm just glad it happened to me and could get the warning out to whoever needs it so that Ben dies here. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to listen to this story, despite maybe not even believing me. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys didn't. I really shouldn't. Your support this entire time has kept me going. Now I'm finally free of this. Thanks again. Signing out.